What's up, ADHD crew? So today's video is going to be about how you can go about adopting minimalism and its effect on the lifestyle that you have and how well you're able to manage yourself as a person with ADHD. It's very common for people with ADHD to unintentionally allow their household to get really messy, and no matter how much they try, they seem to just fall behind. Having less stuff means an easier life. It means less maintenance, which means less stress. And it means you're less likely to get inundated and flooded with lots of things and household work to do that just takes out of time that you could be doing on looking after yourself, enjoying time with your family, working on your goals and hobbies. So let's get started with a few tools that I think you'll benefit from. First thing will be storage boxes. Any kind of storage box will do. It can be very cheap to pick up. You can even get cardboard ones or nicely designed ottomans, things like that. Depends what your budget allows. Just have a look at what you've got and see if you can estimate how many storage boxes you'll need. And just go back whenever you need to get more. It's better to go back rather than just buy more than you need. The second thing you could use is a whiteboard, and the more visible and easy it is to see, the easier it'll be for you to track your goal of decluttering your home. So say, for instance, you want to tackle one room or the whole house, you could break it up into little things and just take it one day at a time or 1 week at a time, depending on your preference. And of course is the smartphone calendar app. Depending on what you have, what's available to you, and what your preference is, it all depends on what works for you specifically. But the fact is, if you can just use a calendar of some kind, you can keep track of when you're going to declutter, and you can break it down into small, manageable sessions. So let's look into the process of how we can start doing this. So step one would be scheduling. You have to make time to do this. If you can just dedicate one particular time out of the week to really get down to doing this, and you can put it on your to-do list, you can put it on your calendar, set an alarm, that way you can really mentally psych yourself up for when you want to get around to tackling the clutter, and it becomes more of an event. And I also use a sticky note widget so that I can actually take a to-do list around with me, and I can update it digitally wherever I go. The key principle is visibility. If it's easily in sight, it's less easily out of mind. So step two would be chunking. Chunking things down is a great technique, and it also helps you to see the whole thing as a process, helps you to manage your energy, prevents burnout, appreciate the process rather than continuously chasing the end goal, which can seem like a mountainous task to overcome, and it can actually put you off from starting in the first place. So if you could just take one room at a time, say a small area, maybe perhaps a cupboard or a chest of drawers, and then you can just schedule another time to tackle the rest. Some people like to do it in small chunks every day, whereas some people like to hyper-focus and just spend the entire day demolishing the house, turning it upside down. But recognize when your energy is getting low, you want to try and preserve some of that energy to continue so that you don't fall off the wagon and you just go months at a time without touching it again. So as soon as you feel like you're done for the day, immediately schedule another session so that you have enough time in between to rest, but then you're going to be automatically set up to go for the next time around. And that way you don't have to think about it, and you're not likely to forget. Step three would be making a junk pile. And what I mean by junk pile is sifting through all your belongings and finding things that are just not necessary, that you don't really look at, and you just don't particularly want anymore. So a rule of thumb for me is that if I haven't used something or worn something for, say, 6 months to a year or more, get rid of it. So you can select an area of your house and you can create a pile of stuff that you're trying to sift through, and just one by one go through that, make a pile of things that you want to keep and a pile of things that you know you want to get rid of, and bag them up ready to go. Now it's up to you what you do with your junk. Some people like to give it away to charity, others like to just throw it straight to the skip. But no matter what you want to do with it, make sure that you just bag it up, store it away in a different area so that it's ready to go when you're ready. Step 4, home giving. Every item you have needs to have some kind of home for it to live in. Giving items a select area to live in is an incredibly useful way of managing your space and also imprinting in your mind where things are. That way you're less likely to forget where they belong, and you're more likely to put them back into that area when the time comes for it. So you can just put all your trinkets and miscellaneous items into a box on a shelf somewhere, so that way it's out of the way, but it's at least in an organized fashion. The same goes for things that you're not sure whether you want to get rid of, that you rarely use. Perhaps you've got a summer wardrobe, and a winter wardrobe, instead of throwing those clothes out, you can just store them away in a box for now and just put them in another area so that you can retrieve them when you need them. A lot of items we never ever use, but they have a lot of sentimental meaning and value to us. So in this case, you don't have to throw them away, just store them away for now. So remember, making a start, even if it's only for 5 minutes, is still a step in the right direction. If you're struggling to find motivation, just remember that a short declutter session will likely make you feel that bit more capable, since the session alone is actually an accomplishment. Look for and track incremental small improvements, and don't dwell on your own concept of good enough. Even the smallest change is better than yesterday.